Welcome back to our channel. Buckle up, because tensions between the United States and Mexico have hit a dangerous crossroads. Mexico's bold threat to cut off vital oil and automotive supplies could ignite a full-blown tariff war, sending shockwaves through the automotive industry and beyond. With Trump's aggressive stance on tariffs and Mexico's strategic countermeasures in motion, the stakes have never been higher. Will this trade conflict spiral into economic chaos, or can diplomacy prevail? Let's break down the 7 key moments that could define the future of U.S.-Mexico trade relations. Number 7. Mexico's leverage over oil and energy supplies. Mexico holds a significant advantage when it comes to energy exports, supplying a major share of crude oil to American refineries, particularly in Texas. If Pemex, Mexico's state-owned oil company, were to cut or restrict this supply, fuel prices in the U.S. could soar, triggering inflation and increasing costs across manufacturing and transportation. President Claudia Sheinbaum has suggested that if Trump's tariffs persist, Mexico is prepared to respond. American refineries are specifically designed to process Mexican crude, meaning a sudden supply disruption would leave the U.S. scrambling for alternatives, driving up costs and causing potential shortages. This isn't just an economic issue. It's a powerful political weapon. A surge in fuel prices could undermine Trump's economic message and frustrate American voters. Mexico's control over energy supplies gives Sheinbaum a strategic advantage, potentially forcing Trump to rethink his hardline trade stance. But energy is just one piece of the puzzle. Next up, the automotive industry, where Mexico's leverage is even greater. Number 6. The automotive supply chain at risk. The North American automotive industry is deeply interconnected, with U.S., Japanese, and European automakers relying heavily on Mexican labor and parts. Every day, hundreds of trucks cross the U.S.-Mexico border, delivering essential components, engines, transmissions, and electronics to American factories. If Mexico were to impose tariffs or restrict automotive exports, the supply chain could grind to a halt almost instantly. General Motors, Ford, and Tesla all depend on Mexican-made parts, meaning a sudden disruption could force production cuts, price hikes, or both, directly impacting American consumers. Industry experts warn that such a disruption could lead to plant closures, job losses, and significantly higher car prices. Automakers would either have to pass the added costs on to consumers or absorb them, cutting deep into profit margins. Mexico's control over this critical supply chain gives President Claudia Sheinbaum a powerful bargaining chip in trade negotiations, putting Trump in a difficult position. And the stakes go beyond the auto industry. Political tensions are about to escalate. Number 5. Political pressure on Trump's base. Trump's hardline tariff policies are designed to energize his political base, particularly in industrial and agricultural states. But Mexico's countermeasures could strike at the core of that support. The Mexican government has already signaled its willingness to target American agricultural exports in retaliation. Tariffs on U.S. corn, soybeans, and beef would deal a heavy blow to rural America, where farmers depend on Mexican markets. Any disruption could send shockwaves through the agricultural sector, but the impact wouldn't stop there. Manufacturers would also feel the squeeze. If Mexico restricts auto parts or energy exports, production costs would surge, leading to potential layoffs in key swing states. If Trump's policies start costing American jobs, his political stronghold could weaken. Mexico's strategy is clear. Apply economic pressure where it hurts most, forcing Trump's base to reconsider their support. But this isn't just about economic retaliation. There's a calculated diplomatic play unfolding behind the scenes. Now, let's shift gears and move on to the next key point. Number 4. Diplomatic maneuvering and strategic delays. Despite rising tensions, Mexico has been careful not to rush into retaliation. President Claudia Sheinbaum has reiterated Mexico's commitment to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, and expressed a preference for diplomacy over immediate countermeasures. By holding back, she is giving Trump a chance to reconsider his strategy. A scheduled call between Sheinbaum and Trump on March the 6th could be a turning point. If Trump remains firm on tariffs, Mexico is prepared to act, with formal retaliation measures expected to be announced at a public meeting on March 9th. Sheinbaum's approach is deliberate, applying diplomatic pressure while keeping the threat of economic retaliation as a last resort. This strategy allows Trump an opportunity to de-escalate without losing face. But if he refuses to back down, Mexico is ready to respond swiftly and decisively. However, this isn't just a standoff between two nations. Canada and China are now entering the equation, adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding situation. Number 3. The risk of a North American trade crisis. If Mexico follows through on its threats, North America's economy could face a significant shock. Trade between the US, Mexico, and Canada is deeply interconnected, meaning any disruption would have widespread consequences. Canada has already signaled its willingness to impose retaliatory tariffs on American products, with a particular focus on the automotive sector. If Mexico and Canada join forces, the US could face a two-front economic hit, disrupting supply chains and driving up costs. Adding to the pressure, China has announced a 15% tariff on American goods, raising the possibility of a coordinated economic assault. This could rattle financial markets, trigger a stock market downturn, and worsen inflation in the US. Both Trump and Sheinbaum now face mounting pressure to protect their national interests. But as economic risks escalate, they may be forced to soften their hardline positions to prevent a full-scale trade war. And speaking of high-stakes battles, energy remains a central flashpoint in this growing conflict. Number 2. Energy, politics, and the battle of narratives. Energy is at the core of this conflict, but the political messaging behind it is just as crucial. Trump's America First narrative hinges on the idea of U.S. energy independence. However, American refineries still rely on Mexican crude for specific grades of oil that domestic production cannot replace. Any disruption would expose this vulnerability, driving up fuel prices and undermining Trump's economic message. Meanwhile, Sheinbaum has framed Mexico's stance as a defense of national sovereignty, making it clear that Mexico will not be pressured by U.S. trade policies. This nationalist approach strengthens her political standing at home while putting Trump in a tough position. Mexico's control over energy supplies gives Sheinbaum a strategic advantage, forcing Trump into a political bind. And ultimately, it all comes down to his biggest gamble yet. Number 1. Trump's high-stakes political gamble. At the center of this conflict is Trump's biggest political gamble yet. His tariffs on Mexico are meant to project strength and rally his base. But if Mexico retaliates, the economic fallout could be severe. American manufacturers and farmers are already feeling the strain. Disrupted supply chains and rising costs could threaten jobs and production, directly affecting voters in key swing states. If Trump sticks to his hardline stance, he risks alienating these voters. But if he backs down, he risks looking weak, a perception he can't afford. Trump has built his political brand on toughness, particularly on trade. But Mexico's leverage over oil and auto supplies has put him in a vulnerable position. If Sheinbaum follows through on her threats, Trump will face a defining choice: protect American jobs or double down on tariffs and risk an economic backlash. Conclusion: the high-stakes trade standoff. Who will blink first? The trade battle between the US and Mexico is shaping up to be a high-stakes political and economic showdown. With control over vital energy and automotive supply chains, Mexico holds significant leverage. Meanwhile, Trump's strategy hinges on projecting strength. So, who will blink first? Will Trump ease his stance to avoid economic fallout, or will Sheinbaum's pressure force a shift in US trade policy? The outcome of this standoff could reshape North American trade for years to come. What do you think? Will Mexico's countermeasures push Trump to back down, or will he double down on tariffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for the latest updates on this trade showdown. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.